Hey guys, how are you guys doing? Hope you guys doing good. Hope you guys doing great. Ignore the water sound, please. I'm going to speak as loud as possible. I would just want to take the video here, so just ignore the water sound. And today I'm going to talk about the spiritual gurus who are famous and people are listening to them every day. And I'm going to give my viewpoints so that it will be really helpful for you guys how to take the spiritual gurus into account, or how much importance you need to give in your day-to-day life. And also I'm going to explain my experience before meditating and listening to them, and after meditating and listening to them. So today I'm going to talk about Osho, Sadhguru, Krishnamurthi, and Krishnamurthi. Maybe Krishnamurthi is not that famous, but the other three folks. Osho is really famous. Sadhguru is famous. Krishnamurthi is famous. And Krishnamurthi, I started listening to him recently. It's a pretty interesting conversation that he has, so I'm going to discuss about him too. So first let me talk about the whole idea of the spiritual gurus taking the importance in our lives in the recent times, and how it can impact your life, and how you need to consider listening to this spiritual gurus, So I summarize them as drugs. All the spiritual gurus are just like a drug in the form of words, right? When you take a drug, after some time it kind of have an effect on your body, and then you experience something, and then you come out of the experience. So there's a slight difference here. The spiritual gurus use their words, and it can pierce into your mind so deep that it's a form of drug which can affect your life, and which can affect the way you think, the way you talk, the way you walk. Everything will be affected. So you need to be really careful what you consume, and always question what they're saying. Always question what they're saying, because you cannot find your real self listening to these gurus. I'm going to come to that. So let me talk about my experience before actually meditating and after meditating. Before meditating, I used to listen to them, and it kind of makes me relaxed. So I used to listen to all these topics of anger, sadness, happiness, relationship, how to live life, what is life about, enlightenment, the sadhus, sannyasis, and materialistic life, and all these things, It used to make me ease my mind, and then I used to listen to them, and it's kind of soothing me. But it's a kind of drug that I was taking in the form of words, but I was not realizing it. After I started meditating, there's a clear difference in the way I listen to them. I started questioning each and everything what they're saying. They're saying everything in their experience, but when I meditate and when I look at things, sometimes they are right, sometimes they are wrong. So after I kept on meditating, I stopped listening to them, because I understood that if I kept on listening to them, then the things that I'm projecting out might be the things they are saying totally. And the things they are saying as a guru, they might have listened somewhere else, So which is not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just that you need to find your own self. You need to find your true self. In order for you to find your true self, you need to stop listening to them. You really need to stop listening to them. And probably you can listen to them sometimes, but you need to stop listening to them at a certain point of your time. And really it happens when you start to meditate. So that's why I say stop listening to them and start practicing meditation, or what they're saying, practice it and stop listening to them. At a certain point you need to do that. You can listen to them until you die, but you're going to keep listening to them, but you're not going to learn anything. But the best way is to practice meditation, whatever it's samadhi or the breathing techniques or anything, just practice it. And once you practice it, you'll start questioning everything what they're saying. One of the things is, simple example is closing your eyes and meditating, opening your eyes and meditating, and some of the conversation they have, I don't agree with them. So this all comes through experience. Once you experience it, you start questioning them. Okay, let me talk about all these different personalities: Osho, Sadhguru, J. Krishnamurti, U.G. Krishnamurti, Osho. Man, Osho. So I'm going to explain each of them in the form of a drug. Okay, Osho is the highest drug you can induce through words. He is like a psychedelic drug. And if he's going to hit you in your mind, he's going to disturb you so much. He's going to disturb you so much that you're going to think hard, and then you're going to wake up. You're going to really wake up. But some of the things that he says, I might not agree with. But some of the things he says, I agree with. Now this thing came after I started meditating. So the enlightenment which he talks about, if you start listening to them, listening to his words and the conversation that he has, it will actually help you to be enlightened. Now he talks about in a different way. The thing is, the enlightenment, what I understood after meditating for a period of 4 to 5 years, what I understood about it is, it cannot be attained. It's like infinite. But it's something like an ocean, but you go and touch the water. You can experience the water, you can swim in the water, but you cannot attain the whole ocean. So even if you meditated for once, and if you have experienced silence, if you are in the moment, if you are alive, like being alive, being awake is something like seeing all around with a magnifying glasses, which means that you cannot be distracted from this moment right now. That's what being alive, being in the moment means, being awake. If you have experienced that once in your lifetime, that's enlightenment. But enlightenment cannot be attained because it's infinite. Every moment is changing. So you cannot even catch hold of enlightenment. You cannot attain enlightenment. But you can experience wherever you are being awake. That's enlightenment. Okay. So the things like people going to him and then people praising him, all of this, that is not needed, which he says by himself. At certain point I stopped listening to him, and because I understood the whole concept and what it is, and it's all about practicing meditation regularly, early morning, being in the moment, being awake, being alive. And that's his whole message, which I got it. There's no more to listen. The only time I listen is when I am distracted a little bit. Maybe I listen here and there, but I stop listening to him. I stop listening to all the gurus. Now, to talk about Osho is a psychedelic drug. He's a psychedelic drug. He's the most highest drug. Now, when you take psychedelic drug, if you don't know how to take the drug, you will be hallucinated, but you won't know where you are, and you will think the drug that you're taking, this person, what he's saying, he's doing something wrong to me. He's doing something crazy to me. He's a bad person. And that's what happens with Osho. A lot of people think he's a bad person. He has done a lot of bad things. But here's the thing. He is a kind of drug. You need to know when to use him and when to not use him. So, what I would say is, like, use whenever you need him. And he himself says, don't praise him as a god. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, I don't know why they do it. They chant his name, they praise him as a god, which he doesn't need it. All he needs is to raise your conscious levels. That's what he's saying in his talk, or the videos, or the conversation that he has. So I would rate Osho as a psychedelic drug. So be careful when you're listening to him. Be careful what you're actually doing when he's saying something. Okay, and practice meditation so that you can be clear what he's saying. Sometimes he says things for his agenda. We used to use Christianity, he used to use Jesus, Allah, Buddha, all the other people, in order to understand, or for you to help being awake, and also it's an agenda, because people will not listen to him initially, because he has to use some name. So he used to use Jesus, Allah, and all the prominent figures to convey his message, and after some time, when he became famous, when he had people, then he started criticizing Jesus, he started criticizing all the gods, because he knows now the people are starting to listen to him, and there are more people listening to him. So he started criticizing Jesus. So he has his own agenda, he has his own plan at that moment when he was living, right? Now you need to decide what you want to take from him, like a drug. Like, you don't use the drug all the time. You use it when you need it. And all spiritual gurus are like drugs. You need to know when to use them. You need to know when to not use them. And it's same case with the YouTube and what you listen to every time, and whatever everyone is saying, even me. Because everything is a perception. Everything is your mind, what it is seeing, and what it is feeling, and what it is sensing. And at that time you take it in and kind of, oh my God, somebody is using. Okay, so you need to know when to use him, when to not use him. Okay, so be careful when you listen to the spiritual gurus. And Osho, being a psychedelic drug, he's on the highest level. And people go crazy once you start listening to Osho. You're gonna go crazy, I'm telling you. So be careful. Be really, really careful. Okay. Now let's talk about Sadhguru. Sadhguru is like a marijuana. He's more logical. Sometimes he talks about Shiva and other stuff, but he's a guru who is for a mediocre mind, which means that a normal person can understand him. Now the Osho is a person who cannot be understood by a normal mind, because it's going to be really hard for a normal mind to understand him. because he talks about stuff which can be offensive, which can be direct, which can be shatter all your beliefs. So he's gonna be direct on your face, which can shatter all the things that you thought about, like, you know, the things that he says about marriage, the things he talks about life has no goal. So it just kind of shatters or shakes your brain so hard, it kind of makes you think. That's what Osho is. Now Sadhguru is not on that level. Sadhguru is a mild spiritual guru who is for a normal mind. Logically he speaks, and basically you can understand him. So I say he's for a normal mind. He's like a weed. He's like a normal drug that you can listen to all the time and it's okay, you know, because he probably understands people much well, and he wants to not shatter your brain or something, you know. He doesn't want to disturb your brain so hard you kind of wake up or something like that. He's like a mild guru, like he's like a weed. He's gonna mellow you. He's gonna speak everything logically, which makes sense and which can give you an idea of how to live life, you know. I think he's more for a mediocre mind. And that's my view about Sadhguru. And I stopped listening to Sadhguru. It was not that hard for me. For me to not to listen to Osho is really hard, because I really like his effect. He's gonna shatter your brain up, right? And so that's why listening to Osho is gonna wake you up. It's gonna be like, wow, just woke me up, right? But I stopped listening to all these people, man. I stopped listening to half of you guys. Start practicing what they say, like meditation, and then you're gonna stop listening to them. You can listen to them till you die, but it's not gonna make any sense. Okay, so for me, Sadhguru is like a weed, like a mild, a mediocre mind person, logical thinking, and it's really, really famous, right? Okay, let's talk about J. Krishnamurti. J. Krishnamurti, I have not listened to him much. It needs a lot of patience to listen to J. Krishnamurti. He's a really, I feel like he's really enlightened person, and most of the stuff he says makes sense. And what kind of drug? I think in between psychedelics and marijuana. But he's more for an intellect kind of people. The things that he says, you need to be really, really patient. I think you need to be really, really patient to listen to all these people. But with J. Krishnamurti, you need to be really, really patient. And I like him. I like J. Krishnamurti. I like the things that he says. He's I think he studied in UK and he is a little bit more westernized, but his roots are from India, so I think he's enlightened. He is enlightened. I like J. Krishnamurti. And I don't know much to talk about him, because the things he says makes really, really sense. And he's little above the mediocre mind. The things that he say, for you to understand, it's little bit about the mediocre mind. You need to be little bit more understandable about what he's saying. So that's about J. Krishnamurti. Now let's talk about U.G. Krishnamurti, man. U.G. Krishnamurti says, fuck all the spiritual gurus. That means he says, fuck Osho. He says, fuck J. Krishnamurti. He just says, fuck Sadhguru. All the spiritual gurus are like making money. And he also says that India sells spirituality. India sells spirituality and computers. You know, that's what he says. And UG Krishnamurti is good to listen to. It's an opposite, it's an antidote drug. He's an antidote drug. That means you're going to question all the things that you're doing. You're going to question the spirituality. So you're going to question the meditation itself. You're going to question everything. But the good thing is, like, for me, he also sounds stupid because I meditated. I have real experience. And when he started saying, my mind went blank. And I started questioning everything that I'm doing. Oh my God, meditation. Is it really worth doing it? Why am I sitting silent? So all of these things came into my mind when UG Krishnamurti was talking. It's really good because it's gonna, the thing is, you need to question everything. You need to question all the spiritual gurus, and UG Krishnamurti is the person you need to listen to question yourself, you question your spirituality, and question all the spiritual gurus. So UG Krishnamurti will help you in that. But I listen to UG Krishnamurti. He is a little arrogant. He doesn't listen to other people, and that's a problem with him. So probably what I think about him is, like, he has experienced something and he has a default opinion about everything. He's not broad-minded. And I listened to a few of his videos and came to the conclusion that he's intelligent as well as stupid at the same time, because your experience is not others' experience, and others' experience is, which means that you cannot universally define your experience to everyone. And UG Krishnamurti does that. What he does is, he thinks his experience is the experience that everyone has. Now, one of the things is, like, I want to tell you is, like, I'm different, you're different, everyone is different. For you to find out yourself, you need to have a self-analysis and go deep inside and practice these things to find yourself, find truly who you are. And it cannot come from others' answers, others' talk. You need to find yourself, and you need to practice, sit silent and practice, and then the experiences from your childhood is totally different from all the spiritual gurus, and then the power that you have is totally different from all these gurus, right? In order for you to, everyone is different, every person is different, every person has a different kind of power within himself. So in order for you to embrace that, you need to sit silently and practice all these techniques for you to find your true self. So, and UG Krishnamurti is an antidote to all the spiritual gurus, questioning every guru, you know. So he's also a useful drug, you know what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, all the spiritual gurus and what you're listening to on YouTube, even me, is a kind of a drug that you listen through words, you know, and you induce into your mind and you have your own reaction. But in order for you to get out of it, you actually need to sit down by yourself and practice meditation and sit silently, so that you can know your thoughts, you can know what's going on within you from your childhood till now, and what to let go, what not to let go, and differentiate the mind, body, and the thing that is watching the mind and body. You kind of differentiate it once you sit silently. You know, there's a space that happens between the watcher, which is watching the mind and the body, and also once you can observe that, you can go into higher conscious state. So this is my experience. I'm telling this through my real experience, and all of the videos that I make are through my real experience. And some of the things I might have listened here and there and might have talked about it, but most of the things I talk is through my real experience. When I talk about differentiating the mind and the body, which is not part of you, I really experienced through meditation, and that's why I'm able to tell you through my experience, and that's my real experience. Okay. Now, at the end of the video, all I want to say is use these gurus as drugs and know how to use them, when to take them, when not to take them. And you will know more once you start to practice meditation. Alright, hopefully this video helped you. I'm here in New Hampshire. I'm enjoying, I'm having a good time. Hopefully you guys are listening to this, and hopefully it kind of enlightens your mind perception about spirituality and gurus and what they talk about. Take them as a pill and know when to take them and when not to take them. All right, peace.